Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text 18. Naiva tasya kirtanenarto
Naiva tasya kirtanenartho
na krite neha kasyana
na kriteneha kasyana
na jasya sarva bhuteshu
na tasya sarvabhuteshu
kaschidartha vyapashaya
kashchidarthavyapashraya.
naiva tasya kirtane arto
Naiva tasya kirtanenartho
na krite neha kasyana
na kriteneha kasyana
na jasya sarva bhuteshu
na tasya sarvabhuteshu
kaschidartha vyapashaya
kashchidarthavyapashraya.
naiva tasya kirtane arto
Naiva tasya kriteneartho
na krite neha kasyana
na kriteneha kasyana
na jasya sarva bhuteshu
na tasya sarvabhuteshu
kaschidartha vyapashraya
kashchidarthavyapashraya.
naiva tasya kirtane arto
na
kriteneha kasyana
na
na
tasya
jasya sarva
sarvabhuteshu
bhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashraya
naiva tasya kriteneartho
naiva tasya kirtane
na
arto
kriteneha kasyana na tasya sarvabhuteshu
na jasya sarva bhuteshu
kashchidarthavyapashraya.
kaschidartha vyapashraya naiva tasya kirtane arto na kartaneha kasyana na jasya sarva bhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashraya naiva tasya kirtane arto na kirtaneha kasyana na jasya sarva bhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashraya naiva tasya kirtane arto na kirtaneha kasyana na jasya sarva bhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashraya naiva tasya kirtane arto na kirtaneha kasyana na jasya sarva bhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashraya naiva tasya kirtane arto na kirtaneha kasyana na jasya sarva bhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashraya na never eva certainly tasya his kirtena by discharge of duty artha purpose na nor akirtena without discharge of duty iha in this world kasyana whatever na never cha and asya of him sarva bhuteshu among all living beings kaschit any artha purpose vyapashraya taking shelter of. Translation and purport given by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. A self realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being. Please repeat after me. A self realized man
A self-realized man
has no
has
purpose
no purpose
to fulfill
to fulfill
in the discharge
in the discharge
of his prescribed
of
duties,
his prescribed duties,
nor has he
nor has he
any reason
any reason
not to perform
not to perform
such work,
such work,
nor has he
nor has he
need to
any need to
depend on any other
depend on any other
living being.
living being.
Purpose. A self realized man is no longer obliged to perform any prescribed duty, save and except activities in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not inactivity either, as will be explained in the following verses. A Krishna conscious man does not take shelter of any person, man or demigod. Whatever he does in Krishna consciousness is sufficient in the discharge of his obligation. Om Jnanantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamaya Tadati Shvapadantikam Eham Shri Guru Shri Udapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Savana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishakhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So this shloka is very important as it clears a lot of doubts of many people. So let's start. So the first thing we must understand is that we, the human beings, all of us are divided into something known as Varna Ashrama, which Varna means the type of work. So the Varna consists of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. That's Varna. So people are divided into those. And ashrama is the stages of life. So one starts from, like example, the stages of life when he's small, then he goes to youth, then he goes to middle age, then he goes to old age. So similarly, ashrama is, it starts from brahmachari life. So brahmachari is when a person is learning, he's studying something. And then he goes to grihastha, married life, vanaprastha, which is retired life, and sannyasa, that's renunciation. That's the life of renunciation. So all of us, all human beings are divided into these varna ashrama. So in order to get something in a right order, everyone has to be divided to do different duties or different work in order to like make something in a right manner, in like orderly manner. So all of us have been given a prescribed duty to do. As like Vaishya has a prescribed duty to protect cows and to do trading. A Shudra has a prescribed duty of helping the other varnas. It's and if a person becomes proud of thinking, oh, I'm a Brahman or I'm a Kshatriya, it's not like that because all of these are all equal. It's not like a Brahman is more fortunate or higher in position than a Shudra. It's just like if you think like a body, a person's body. A person has his head, his stomach, his hands, his legs. But if you remove the legs of a person, the person would be fit to be called like a fit person. He won't be able to be called a fit person. So it's similarly like that. That each and every varna or each and every ashrama is the same as long as all the work or all the duties are performed for Krishna. So even after all of these, like the main point is that everyone has some duty. Everyone has a different prescribed duty to perform, and no one is free from this duty. So, no matter what varna or ashrama you may be, one must perform sacrifice or duty. So, or yagna. So, sacrifice is just any action done without attachment to the results, or work offered or done for Krishna. So, a sacrifice is your prescribed duty because you are sacrificing your time, your work for Krishna. So, it's your prescribed duty. And if we don't follow the cycle of yagna or the cycle of sacrifice or our prescribed duty, our lives would be filled with sin. As it says in the chapter 3, text 16, yeah, text 16, uh, it's said over here, but Krishna says, Evam pravartitam chakram, nanu vartayatihaya. One who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice, thus established by the Vedas, ahagayur, which means certainly leads to a life full of sin. So if a person is not following or not doing the prescribed duties, intentionally or unintentionally, he is getting sin. He's living a life of sin. And if a person knows that he's living a life of sin and he's not doing the prescribed duties, he's just risking it. Because also over here in the purport of chapter 3, text 16, it says that um, therefore, for those who want to enjoy this material world, the above mentioned cycle of performing yagnas is absolutely necessary. One who does not follow such regulations is living a very risky life, which means that at any point you may just fall down. Because right now, if a person is living on their pious activities, if they are living on their karmic balance, and is not performing the prescribed duties, that means their karmic balances keep on going down. That means they're living a very risky life. Anytime, and it's gone. So it's a very risky life, and one should not joke around with that. If a person knows what his prescribed duties, he must follow. But there are some circumstances where people may be like, okay, I'm doing my work and I'm doing my prescribed duty, but then they're not offering it to Krishna. So that's not you. That is duty, but that's not your prescribed duty. It's like doing something um, without having any, you could say, result from it. Like example, so one must do their prescribed duties and offer it to Krishna. So that's no sacrifice. Now that's yagna. So example, if I am a policeman, I will do my duty for Krishna, so that thieves in this country or this place do not disturb the pious people. So one must perform their duties for Krishna. And if one does not perform this cycle of sacrifice, which starts from the seed-giving father, Krishna says, Bijamam sarva bhutanam. He is the seed-giving father of this world. So the cycle of sacrifice or yagna starts from him because he's the one who writes the Vedas, and in the Vedas it's said what are we supposed to do. And from the Vedas we perform actions, and from those actions we give it back to Krishna. So this is the whole sacrifice. It's a cycle. So if one does not do that, he will occur sin. So as we get back to the shloka, there is a question which must be answered, which is answered in the shloka, that if work or duty is important and necessary, then why does it say that a self-realized man has no purpose to fill in the discharge of his prescribed duty. Why is it like that? Why is it that self-realized people don't need to do the prescribed duties? So first we must understand what's a self-realized man, a person, a soul. So first of all, the self-realized person has understood that he is the soul and he is not the body. So whatever he gets, that's enough for him. He does not take anything more than necessary. As it says in Nectar of Instruction, Attihara Prayasascha Prajalpa Niyamagraha. It's one of an offense to eat more than necessary or collect funds more than necessary. So a devotee or self-realized soul does not does not need anything for his body. Whatever he gets, little of it, he just takes it. So, and another thing about him, he's always happy inside. One of the qualities of the soul is Satchid Ananda Vigraha. No, that's Krishna, but then we're getting his quality. So obviously, we are quantitatively different from Krishna, but qualitatively same, the same. So Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. He has eternal happiness. So a self-realized person who thinks of him as the soul, he is always happy. He does not need to find happiness outside in the world. As normal people, they're looking out for happiness. They're trying to find new ways in order to find happiness. Like people are trying to, if they want to sleep in a better way, they create comfy beds. If they want more security, security, they like get more guards or guns, all of those stuff. They want to defend themselves, but then at the end of the day, they're just under the four things that also animals do, and they do it even in a better place. People who are very rich, they cannot sleep, even they have comfy beds, they cannot sleep in those. But if you go to the street, you'll see dogs who are just sleeping on the floor, living their best life. So it's not like that. So we must understand that if if we want happiness, we need to serve Krishna. And the people who are self-realized, they're already happy from inside. Also, if they do not work for personal gain. Everything they do is surrendered to Krishna. Whatever they do. And whatever they do is not out of fear. So there are three ways how people come to Krishna. There is out of fear. How do they serve Krishna? So there's out of fear, there's out of duty, and there's out of love. So it's like stages. So at first, people may start off, okay, if we don't do this, we'll go to hell. If we don't do this, we'll go to hell. They get the fear, they start doing it. So I mean, it's good to serve in that way, but that's not the best option. That's not the best option. So devotees who are self-realized do not work out of fear, nor do they work out of duty. Because in duty, a person does, okay, there is God, and we must dutifully do our duties for Him. So it's like uh, it's like a robotic work. It's not that you have any feeling for Him; you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. So it's not good. The best way is to do service out of love for Krishna. That's the best way. And devotees are always compassionate, no matter what. They're always compassionate. I mean, if you see a devotee, the other day we were reading in Bhagavatam, where it says that also devotees who are a bit slightly away from compassionate, from the word compassionate, like they're a bit harsh and stuff like that. So we must say, like, keep a distance from them. Like, we must respect them as their devotees, but like a bit distance from them. So we must understand that a self-realized person is compassionate. No matter what, he's compassionate. So now we have understood what is a self-realized person. But even after understanding all of this, we might still have a question. Why don't self-realized person need to perform their prescribed duties? We must understand that a self-realized person obviously knows that they are soul and they're not the body. As it says, Stitatma Yogo Yam Karma Samacharam. They don't need to do anything else. The moment you understand that you are the soul and not the body, you don't need to do any duty. Because over here it says a person situated in the self acts in yoga. So a person who understands that they are the soul and not the body and they have to serve Krishna, they don't need to perform any other prescribed duties because they're already surrendered unto Krishna. The other thing is they're free from desire and fear. As, as once a devotee is free from desire, he does not need to perform any duties. Because when you perform prescribed duties, it's in order to remove a bit of material contamination from your brain. So when the devotees don't need to do that, they don't have any karmic balance because whatever they do is under a karma. A karma is you don't get any inaction. You don't get any inaction back. Yeah, you don't get any, you don't get any reaction back when you do a karma. So they do not need to perform prescribed duties. So they're already free from desire and fear. And their actions are naturally pure. Whatever they do is pure. You can feel it. As when you see all those Maharajas when they come, like yeah, all those Goswami Maharajas, all of them when they come, you can feel their vibration. All of whatever they do is pure. There is no mistake in them. So they do not need to perform prescribed duties because they've already surrendered unto Krishna. Whatever they do is pure. So prescribed duty is done in order to get rid of material contamination. And devotees of the highest kind are the Uttamadhikaris who don't need to perform prescribed duties because the duties are only designed to purify people from material contamination. And as the Uttamadhikaris don't have any contamination, as they see Krishna as everything and everything as Krishna. But okay, there's another question some people might ask. But why do some devotees, they still come back down to our level and perform prescribed duties? Well, there are many instances where you see, let me give you an example. Srila Prabhupada, he was a pure devotee. He was a self-realized person. Why did he come back down and perform his prescribed duty? They another example like Devananda Pandit, Shri Narottam Das Thakur, all of these people came back down from Uttamadhikari to Madhyamadhikari. Madhyamadhikari is not that advanced, but they're advanced in Krishna consciousness. And they're still under the material modes of nature, like goodness. They're on the highest goodness. But then Uttamadhikari is over that. He's over the material modes of nature. So, devotees of Uttamadhikari, if they want to preach, they have to come back down to Madhyamadhikari. So, in order to set an example. So, one of the only reasons devotees perform prescribed duties is to set an example. Also, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 3.21, Yad yad acharati shreshtas tad tad eva taro jana. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. So that's why Krishna himself, he says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, 22, text 22 and 23, that there is no prescribed duty for Krishna. Obviously, there is no prescribed duty for Krishna because whatever duties we do is for Krishna. So Krishna doesn't have a prescribed duty. So whatever prescribed duty, there is no prescribed duty for Krishna. But yet, if he fails to do so, if he fails to do his prescribed duties, certainly all men will follow his path. Mama varta manu vartante. Which means that when Krishna came to this world, he was doing his prescribed duties. He was taking care of his children, his wives, the palace, the kingdom of Dwarka. He was also tending the cows. He was helping with King Nanda Maharaj and all of that. Which means that also great souls, and Krishna himself, like he did the prescribed duties in order to show us that we must do the prescribed duties. So we must understand that we are not yet self-realized. We are not yet self-realized because we have understood that becoming a self-realized person is we will reach that level if we continue bhakti, but then we are not yet self-realized. And what we must perform our duties sincerely, because it says that performing duties is a must, but only those who are self-realized are accepted from that. And even those who are self-realized come back down to show us that we must perform our duties or we may fall down, because prescribed duties help us to get rid of material contamination. It purifies us. So if we don't do that, we'll fall down. And we must offer all our work to Krishna. So example, if I'm going to buy mangoes, I must think, okay, I'm going to buy mangoes for Krishna. And all of that stuff. Whatever work we're going to do has to be performed for Krishna. So that karma turns into a karma. And we must do our actions without attachment. Okay, it's kind of hard as we're not yet self-realized, but we must try to at least like leave it on Krishna. For example, if you're waiting for your exam grades, okay, so you're studying for it, so and you want an A star, like above 95%. So what you must think is, okay, I'm studying, but the results are left on Krishna. I must study, I must do my job and leave everything else on Krishna. So we must do what we are supposed to do. It's not like, okay, I don't study, I leave it on Krishna. So that means we're not doing our duty. It's like if we don't do our duty, Krishna can't help us. So we must do our duty and leave the results of Krishna. So that's the thing. And until we reach self-realization, our duty is to act for Krishna, perform our yagna or our duties sincerely, and follow the example of great souls, and make our life purposeful and free from sin. Hare Krishna. Shiva Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions, comments?
So only one question about the exam. तो पढ़ाई तो करनी है ना?
Yeah.
और अगर पढ़ाई ठीक से नहीं करते तो फिर कैसा solution है?
If we don't study, then if we get bad marks, we can blame it on Krishna.